Welcome to Biz Dev Live. My name is Cameron Toth. I'm so excited to bring you the amazing Jess Todtfeld today. He has the Guinness Book of World Records for number of interviews in the day. He is the guy that helps you get sales leads. He gets people together, mastermind groups, really gets into the intricate bits of how to find leads for your business, making it easy for you to find the clients that you need to sustain your business. We're going to get into all that and more. I want your comments. I want your questions. Where are your difficulties in finding leads? I want your questions. We'll follow up with you. Excited to talk with Jess today. I hope you're excited as well. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the Biz Dev theme.
Biz Dev Live, Biz Dev Live. Weekdays at 11 Eastern Time, live. Biz Dev Live, Biz Dev Live. Weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration, Biz Dev Live, Biz Dev Live. Business development, not even selling it. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. This is business development, not even selling it. This is business development, not even selling it. Business development, not even selling it. Biz Dev Live, Biz Dev Live. Biz Dev Live. This is business development, not even selling it.
All right, I got the amazing Jess Todtfeld here. I'm going to get into his bio here, so I'm going to put him up full screen. Pressing the wrong buttons. Here we go. Wish your business had more leads? Jess Todtfeld, founder of Lead Generation Mastermind, will share 5 to 10 great, easy strategies for finding more leads so you can grow your business today. Jess has been a TV host, reporter, best-selling author, and Guinness Record holder for most interviews given in 24 hours, 112 different radio stations. He is here to show us that powerful leads are everywhere. Man, a few words in the bio. Thank you so much for being on the show with me, Mr. Jess Todtfeld.
It's great to be here. I'm so excited to give and share. You think we should?
I know you wanted to open with fire, so here's your opportunity. Open with some fire.
That's one of my things, to give people something right away. So we're broadcasting this on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
What if, for lead generation, you found somebody, you weren't even connected to them, and you wanted their email address? Well, there's a free tool where you can get their email address almost all the time. Sometimes it may not work, but it usually does work. I would say 98% of the time. It's called Contact Out. Contact Out. Do a Google search. It's a plugin for Chrome. You click it. There's the person's email address. You could always just reach out and say, hey, saw you on LinkedIn. I have this thing that I do. Just thought I'd reach out. How's that out of the gate for a lead gen idea?
Love you. I was slow to push the buttons because I was writing it down myself. I love that, Jess. I love it a lot. So you get this browser plugin, and now as you're on somebody's profile, you're going to see their email right away.
Yeah, their email pops up, and now you can, just like if you found somebody randomly or somewhere, and obviously you have to be smart about how you word your email and not go and take them and just start spamming them with your regular junk. But think about it as a one-to-one email opportunity and ask them a question or two. Hey, I saw you over here. Wasn't sure. I do this thing. I just thought I'd reach out. I've done that.
I love that.
And I love well. Obviously, you still have to find out if there's a fit or not.
Yeah, I love it. And I think that's really important too, because we're talking about finding sales leads. We're not talking about finding suckers or fools or whatever, right? You guys still approach people like people and be nice, but this is a great way to find that lead, right? And so
people like people. I like that, Cameron. I call it the human being policy, which is to treat people like human beings and act like a human being.
Absolutely.
It's a crazy concept.
So people can look that up. Contact Out. Do a Google search for Contact Out. I love that. All right, Jess. Tell us how you help people. I know I gave the brief bio, got a little into it, but just tell us really briefly what you do, and then I want to kind of get into the backstory, why you're passionate about what you do in the story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I help people. I founded something called Lead Generation Mastermind, and it's a community. It's not on Facebook or LinkedIn. It's on its own platform. And right now, people who are tuning in can get it for free, and we'll be charging for it very soon. But basically, it's a community where I realized, what do I do as a business owner? I talk to all my friends about, you should know about this thing. People will want to work with you. It's leads that we're needing to be able to fuel our businesses. And these were the conversations I was having. And what if I put all these people together and everyone could be sharing ideas and strategies and all of that? And that's exactly what happens in there. And most of the time it's within the community, typing to each other, but we have podcasts in there. We have a live Zoom actual mastermind that we do from time to time, and a few other cool things. So it's been great. But people who are listening to your program can get in there for free right now.
I love that. All right, so make sure you notice that. Make sure you follow up with us so we can get you in for free in this mastermind group to get your leads, which is a fantastic offer, Jess. Thank you for that. Evan Johnson, good friend of mine, student, alumni of a program that I've worked with for a long time, says, good morning.
Thanks.
Question for Jess. How does this tool find the email? Does it pull from LinkedIn info, or does it scour the internet for contacts? I'm going to share the page because I know that this could get us into the weeds here, but I looked it up real quickly. So just do a quick Google search, right? And so find
contact
email, phone, right? Get the Chrome extension.
I don't know if they quite say, and that's what it looks like. I don't know if they quite say, but I suspect that it's what people have given to LinkedIn. That's my feeling when I see it on there. Usually it's a business email, and on occasion you see someone's Gmail and you kind of make a decision. But I think it's doing that. And later on, I will talk about something that I learned from the people in the Lead Generation Mastermind, a tool that you pay for that does scour the whole internet and then comes up with a probability for the right email. And you can create big, long lists and all of that. But we could always talk about that a little bit later on.
And I don't think most people probably, in terms of percentage wise, if you're even watching this on LinkedIn, I know I didn't know it right away. And I know when I speak to people, they don't always know it, but it's fairly easy to get somebody's email address if you are connected with them on LinkedIn, going into their contact information. You can download a whole list of your contacts, but a lot of people have hit the privacy button somewhere, so you won't get that email on every single person. But as you go into individual people, usually their email is available there. And yes, it might be the professional email, or it might be the Gmail email address, either way. So talk to me about how you got into this stuff, right? So you've had a very interesting career. What did little Jess want to be when he grew up, and how did you get passionate about what you do now?
Well, thank you. And super fast, I just want to say, you can export your contacts from LinkedIn, but one thing they changed somewhere in the last, I think, year or two was that you don't get their email. You just get all their other information, like their name and where they live or something, or their city. So you kind of have to use third-party tools to be able to do some of that part.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think there's mixed results, because I know I've done it and I've gotten some of the emails, but not all the emails. And I've done that within the last year. So I think it's...
Oh, you did?
It might be a little bit of a mix. Yeah, I think...
Okay.
You could do a little bit, but I think it's, it's one of those things I think like anything else too, with contact building. I'm sure we'll get into a little bit.
We'll get into that.
Yeah. The how you put your email list together and how you nurture that, right? Go ahead.
So, yeah. So you were asking about my backstory. All right. We're going to reveal stuff today. And thank you, Luann, who's tuning in. So what did little Jess want to do when I was growing up? Well, I wanted to work in TV or film. I was the kid in the 80s with the video camera on their shoulder, because that's how you kids nowadays with their small video recording devices. I was, trying to make little movies, and to be able to edit, I didn't have fancy equipment like we do with our computers. I had 2 VCRs. So I just knew, I said to my parents, I want to do something with video, and which was majoring basically a double major in TV and film. And they said yes. And I just bring that part up because I have a kid in college now and another one who's closer to going to college. And we have to let them spread their wings and figure out where they want to go, give some guidance. But they said yes, even though I would have thought that they would have said, that sounds crazy, but they said it's okay. And I did that. I ended up getting out of college. I worked in film very briefly on independent films, just some like weird experiences of showing up as a production assistant and, painting walls and putting mud on people. It was one weird job for a week, giving them wet mud, and it was for some sort of weird shoot. And
I love that. Those are the details we'll remember. Yes, indeed. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then New York City, I'm like, 22. They gave me a pair of keys, and they said, "These are the keys." I'm like, "For what?" And they're like, "For that very large truck there that you're going to drive around New York City." I'm a kid. I haven't been driving that much. Drive around New York City, pick up all sorts of equipment and other things. So I'm just like merging and being like, I hope no one's in that lane. So that was some of the beginning. To have steady work and eventually, money coming in consistently. I got a job in television. I've worked in TV at ABC, NBC, Fox, a bunch of places you haven't heard, but as a producer. And I did my majority of time there. That was about 13 years as a producer, working on news shows, mainly news shows. One show was a gadget show, which was kind of fun, but booking people, knowing what the media was looking for as far as an interesting story. And this laid some groundwork to what I always also had a dream for, which was owning my own business and being, master my own domain. And I ended up doing that eventually. I had heard along the way that there was this thing called media training, teaching people to either get media attention or be able to deliver media interviews. And that's kind of under the bigger banner of being a communication consultant, which sounds very vague, but also includes helping people with speeches or sales presentations. And eventually I grew into that. But back on the TV side, as far as fun, crazy experiences, I worked on this gadget show early on in my time in television, which was called What's New? Anything new we'd have. And I was just a goofy 22-year-old, and they, maybe I was 23 or 4 by that point, and they would give me a microphone and a camera person and send me out, and I was on air. So I was interviewing people on the street, and everyone has access now in social media. Anybody can go out and be in front of people and show your personality, but it was fantastic, and it was shown all across the country, and it was a wonderful experience. Actually, the funny thing is now that I've left television and I actually run 2 businesses, I've done some TV interviews, or people have heard about that in the past. And it's always a fun thing to, draw the best out of people, find out everyone tuning in today has some sort of expertise and can contribute something. So it's always a lot of fun, as you get to do every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern.
That's right.
As that was the best theme song I ever heard because you will not forget when this show happens.
That's right.
People
That's
will
right.
always know. So yeah, just really great. And I don't know if you want me to transition into when I made the leap and some crazy stuff that happened.
Yeah. So you were kind of following this kind of TV career. And so how did you go to lead generation? How did you get here, and how did you get passionate about it?
Well, I mean, what I was saying was, one thing we always talk about, people, meaning business friends, is about how you get more business, or, hey, you can do this thing. And, people still go to networking events. And I think that there's still power in networking, but we have social networks now, and we have all sorts of interesting tools so we can network, I think, even on a higher level. I think we still should always talk to human beings. It's a human being policy again. Face to face when we can. We should utilize virtual tools when we can, but we should also utilize AI tools and automated tools tools that allow us to reach many people at once. So, so I'll very quickly tell you when, so 2003 or 4, I started a training business. I was still working in television. 2007, I pulled the ripcord. I left to start my own business, doing the training and consulting. And 3 months later, the recession started. And then they were like, oh, it's a terrible time to be out there. But my take was, you're going to double down and make stuff happen. That's what I did. I said, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to be smarter. I'm going to be as lean as I can be, or smart and better, all this stuff. And I discovered some tools, but I do things totally differently now in 2021, meaning there's more automation, there's more access to people. So doing that for a while, and a second business that I started 3 years later, which was a totally different take on publicity and PR and visibility, which is called Media Ambassadors. So these are my actual main businesses that I run, and really Lead Generation Mastermind right now is a passion project that is growing. And here's a little thing for all your business people tuning in today, which is I feel like we need to be focused on the main thing that we do, but we need to plant seeds over here. So when the next pandemic happens, whatever that is, we can look at our chips on the board and say, would one of these be a good idea for me to put my attention to? Which is exactly what happened with Media Ambassadors, which is, like I said, this totally different take on getting people press. And we've done an amazing job getting people TV, print, radio all across the country. We do it for 80% less cost. It's a whole other thing. People can reach out to me privately on LinkedIn if you want to find out about that, because I don't want to tease too much about the leads and not get to it fast enough.
Sure. So what are the two names of your business? So you got Media Ambassadors, and what's the other business?
It's called Success in Media. I mean, if people just search me, they'll find me. And you mentioned I have a Guinness record, which is I guess I buried the lead. I should have mentioned that. When I left, I started writing books and about media and communication, all that stuff. I said, well, actually, a friend of mine said, Jess, you're the media guy. You better do this push bigger than anybody. I ended up setting a Guinness record, 2009. I still hold it. And the only reason why I even entered the PR space, which I think the space is totally broken. People overcharge. They don't have guarantees. We undercharge. We charge 80% less, and we have guarantees. And I only entered it because I felt like people were not, there was just this void that was available, and people kept asking for it. And I bring this up because when the pandemic started, it was something that we had been testing on the side, and I was very busy with the training business. And when you couldn't meet people in person anymore, I said, maybe we should build up this other thing, which is now bigger than the initial business. But here's the common thread. All of these businesses and people tuning in need leads, or else there's no business. You need new, fresh people. You need new ways to reach out. And that's one constant that's always been there. And LinkedIn, we're both here on LinkedIn. We're utilizing this tool that they give to people, and you're doing it in a cooler way because you have opening music and flashy graphics, all of that. But we still have to deliver great content.
That's right.
And I don't want to keep people wondering.
Yeah, I'll just say one thing, because what you were talking about in terms of setting up, because I think now, my business included. So, Biz Dev Live, I started up last year with the intention of one day being a business development arm and media arm for companies that want to seek deeper into either the business world or into media, right? But the approach, much like I would say some of your endeavors is getting the exposure, right? Getting the brand build up, right? Which I think so many people are looking for. And the other piece that you were talking about was there's going to be something else that comes down the road, right? We went through the 2008, 2009 financial downturn. I was affected by that. I definitely felt the need at that time. Man, would have been nice to have something else going on that I could take advantage of that didn't rely on my full-time job. And then again, now, I started up Toth Event Staffing in 2011. So I have the staffing business that provides waiters and bartenders and chefs and captains for private owned parties and caterers. Obviously, during a pandemic, when people can't get together in person, basically outlawed in terms of events, right? That severely affected my business. And I was thinking, man, I could have been selling furniture to clients, as people were like pimping out their pads because they didn't have anything else to do, right? And so, 9 years of building up a nice client list, there's different things that you can do. So I thought that was a really amazing and important point. What are you doing to sort of take advantage of the business and clients you have, and especially over time, expand your offerings, whether it's something like, truly something that's internal business or referral business, partnering with a furniture store, for example, and just taking advantage of your client list, that kind of thing. So I thought those were amazing, important points that I wanted to highlight. Darren Kaplan, tuning in. Boom, boom. What's up, guys? You look great. All right. So yes, let's get into the leads discussion. We have some takeaways here. I don't know where you want to start, but you have said leads are everywhere. So what do you mean by that when you say leads are everywhere?
So you mentioned referrals. You mentioned, and if we really do some soul searching, we probably are not asking enough or properly or incentivizing just on that one word that you brought up as far as referrals. And even just the fact that we're broadcasting this on LinkedIn today, we're probably not using all of the tools that LinkedIn gives us to find new people, to chat with them, to keep them warm. And we know some of these tools exist, some we don't know. But I want to hit you with one right now. And actually, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to say this as far as a tool. There are some people tuning in right now who are business owners who don't have a CRM. Some do, and some are thrilled with theirs. So CRM, again, is a customer or client relationship management program. It's usually subscription-based, and you can keep track of people. So if you've ever talked to somebody and they said, hey, Jess, I would like to introduce you to this person. You say, yeah, that would be great. And then you just hope that it happens. Or someone says, I want to talk to you next month, and you hope it happens, or you're writing it down or you're putting it in a spreadsheet. It's not enough. So you need a tool where you can put reminders, and every day you go to it and you have all these interesting reminders that pop up. So not everybody knows that there's a free CRM that's very, very robust, which is Hubspot CRM. Very robust, their free version. And you can watch a YouTube video of somebody explaining everything you need to know on how to use it exactly. But there's a phrase called the fortune is in the follow-up. If you're not following up really well with people who have either said, yeah, I want to work with you, or, hey, why don't you send me a proposal? And you're like, oh, man, I forgot to send that proposal, or I sent it however many days late. You've left money on the table. So you need to have something you go to every day, a CRM that you look at, and they've redone theirs. I've tried a number of CRMs. I've done Salesforce, and I've done some smaller ones, and ones that are not necessarily CRMs that I've customized this and that. This has been amazing. And people are using one and they use it every single day, and they get their list of follow-ups, and then they actually follow up. You'd be surprised. I have so many stories where I've just seen in there and sent a quick email where the person said, we might want to do something next summer. Great. Well, then I'm going to every couple of months just send a few lines. Hey, I was thinking about you guys. I don't know if you heard about this thing. Anyway, I know, we're talking about next summer. Hope you're having a good winter. And by the time the right time rolls around, I'm the only one left in the game. I've had this happen so many times. They're like, you're the only one to even talk to us. So there's no discussion of us using anybody else. And maybe during the way I said, hey, I'm going to send you a copy of my book, whether it's the physical book or the, you don't have to have a book, but that's another lead generating tactic, or my digital one or something else. Here's another strategy. Should I just be on a roll for a little bit?
Yeah. Keep going. Yeah.
If you don't have a book, which is a great business card to hand people for them to be very excited about you. Just looking around to see. Here's mine. We're updating. We're doing the newest version, Media Secrets. Which, by the way, here's a lead tactic. I'm going to be all over the place. If you go to freemediasecrets.com, it's a secret site where you can get my book for free and you just pay the shipping and handling. See, that's another tactic for doing it. But let's say you don't have a book done yet. I'm going to tell you what I did early on. I said, how long is it going to take me to get it all out of my brain and then go through a process? And at the time, you have to definitely go to a publisher. And now there are all these hybrid options. You can take the microphone that comes with your phone, and you can take a better microphone, by the way, a fancier microphone, and connect it to your computer. But this is an easy way to do it. And you can write up an outline. You can do a 30 to 60 minute audio on something really important that helps your audience, and you can put a dollar amount on it. And back when I first started, it was called How to Get Free Publicity on TV. And I had an outline. It was actually an hour. I had done it as a teleseminar back then before we could see people. I always like the video option. It's nice to meet people. They get to see the two of us today. And I said the price is $29 or $30. And many times I gave it to people as a lead generator or built it into something and said, I'll tell you what, I have this thing on my website you'll see for $30. I'm just going to give it to you. But because it also had that price, and by the way, some people did pay for it, but because it had that value attached to it, people were more likely to check it out versus if I just said, yeah, you're right, you're an expert then. You say, oh, I'm an expert on this thing. Hey, I'm going to share this audio book. You can call it whatever you want, but don't call it something that sounds cheap. So sometimes people say, oh, I have this ebook. It's not really a book. Here's another secret. You can very easily turn an ebook on Amazon into a book that will be print on demand. Right. And people can buy it. But I would call it a digital version of my book. It's a book.
I want to go back to something you said, because you were saying I can record this 30-minute thing, 60-minute people. And I know a lot of people will bulk at that. I know I have in the past. You got the voice in your head that says, well, what do I know? People know more than me. But
imposter syndrome.
If you're watching this, right, you're an expert at something. You've done the paperwork. You've put in the time. You've networked. You've studied. You've done something. You're good at something. You're amazing at something. It may be drawing watercolors. It may be doing mortgages. It might be organizing your office. There is something that you know how to do. And if you know how to do it 10% better than somebody else, you are awesome. You are an expert. Go and start developing that thought leadership portfolio, start creating these products. And I'm speaking to myself too, because I don't sell a lot of stuff, and I'm listening to you like, man, I gotta put some of this stuff out and sell, because over time, you may not make a killing tomorrow. You may not, offer an audio book or a book on Amazon tomorrow and be a millionaire. But these things build up your personal brand. That's what you're talking about. These things build up your brand. They allow you to then sell other services, because now people see you as a more influential, more important, more knowledgeable person out in the marketplace.
Cameron, for you could have a 20-page digital book on how to have the perfect event. And when you go through it, you're just talking about all of the pains that people have, all the mistakes that people make, and of course, some of the things that your people do that make people's events amazing. And you could say it's easily digestible, and you give people, while they're thinking about working with somebody, it differentiates you. And they can go through it quickly, 20 pages, and they're now thinking about working with you. Nobody else has that. Everyone else tuning in can do something like that. You can talk through it with the Otter app, which translates or transcribes is the word I'm looking for, your audio into text, and then go on Fiverr, where people do stuff for $5, and have somebody clean it up And then for another $5 or more, you can have somebody maybe take some graphics or just make it look really pretty. Maybe put it over an overlay of some sort of background or, something like that. And everybody else can do that. And now you have this thing to give to people when somebody's leaving and say, oh, you know what? Hey, I want to send you this thing. No matter who you work with, you should read this. And obviously it's giving them some great information and it's designed to help. And the thing I want to add to the point you brought up about people getting in their own heads is the only people who don't worry about imposter syndrome are the imposters. They don't care about it. They're not worried at all. The other people,
what is it? The guilty party sleeps. The guilty party sleeps at night, right? You got locked up. The guy that's sleeping, he's the one who did it because he knows he did it. He's not nervous about anything. It's not working out in a different way for him, right? If he gets off, that's great. If he's there, he did it, right? He's not worried about anything. I love that.
There's so many great things. Should we keep it moving with strategies?
Keep going.
Well, even on LinkedIn, not everybody uses this feature. In fact, most people don't use this feature that they give to you for free. Is if you go into their messenger on your phone, you can send an audio message to people. So I can say, hey, Cameron, you and I are connected. We're friends, so to speak, on here if we haven't met. But we haven't actually met. I was looking at your profile and, I saw something that I think we're a total fit for. I just wanted to send you this audio message as a real human being and not, some whole big marketing mumbo jumbo. And hey, I'd love to connect with you and tell you about this specific thing that will help you. Boom. So you can do that and you'd be surprised. You can hit some people who get excited about talking to you. And of course, we're so distracted. There's so many things out there. We need to do some of this to be able to get more people to pay attention. So that's the audio version. There's also a free video version that you can use. You ready for this, Cameron?
Go ahead. Drift
is a company that has a video tool that you can use together with LinkedIn. It integrates with LinkedIn, but you can also use it separately. And you can record, just like the box you see right now, a video message. And actually, the way I've done it is you put somebody's profile up on your screen and it makes a circle. And we've seen some of this maybe with Loom or Vidyard or some of the others, but not quite in the same way. They take the circle and they make it big with your face right in the middle of the screen. And you can start talking and saying, hey, I was here on your profile. Notice this thing. And then when you click, it'll put you down in the corner and you can continue talking. And it's very cool. It instantly makes the video ready and available. And you can do it right within the messenger on LinkedIn and send somebody a video message. Or you can make the message and you can email it to them using the other tool, Contact Out, that I brought up earlier to get email addresses. Imagine that. We could show up in a totally different way. That's it. Drift Video, free. And I know at a certain point they would like to try to get people to upgrade, but I've been using the free version for a while and it's fantastic. They have lots of other tools where you can have a whole chat on the side and just have it be even more robust and people can figure out, what really works for them. If that works with your business, then you pay a little extra, support a company like that, and use their tools even more.
I love that. I want to ask the audience right now, if you're using tools, if you're using like BombBomb or, different CRMs. So Jess brought up HubSpot. If you're using those things, if I can go back to the HubSpot and the CRM piece, because I know one of the other takeaways that we wanted to hit today was decide to nurture them today, right? So the ways that you actually nurture the folks that are already in your portfolio. And I harp on this with Biz Dev Live. I talk about how social media for me, over the last 2011 to 2020, social media to me for Toth Event Staffing wasn't about acquiring new customers. We did that always with word of mouth. We're a local company, Westchester, Scarsdale, Greenwich, Connecticut, NYC. People talk to each other. It's events kind of thing. You're dealing with people. People like to work with people, right? We're back to that, right? They want to work with human beings. And so that referral business is a big deal. But now you're it, right? You've emailed me, you've called me, I've gotten your information. So now I'm connecting with you on social media, and you're seeing my advertising on Facebook, because I'm spending a little, really just chump change on Facebook just to make sure that an ad pops up so that you see me and I'm present with you. So talk to us, whether it's the CRM, or what are other ways that you nurture your leads?
Well, one thing that the founder of ClickFunnels talks about, Russell Brunson, is he heard somewhere along the way that that each subscriber on your system, people have actually subscribed, not emails that you necessarily bought and put in there, that should be worth $1 to you. So if you have 1,000 subscribers, it should be worth $1,000, I should say, a month to you. And when you stop and you say, really, $1,000 a month, what are you doing to nurture that? So then you may say, I want 2,000. I want to have 5,000. I want to have 10,000 subscribers on there. What are you doing? One thing I'll say with all of these different platforms is I like the idea of showing up in different places, because people say, oh, I saw you on LinkedIn, but then I saw a thing go by in Facebook, and then you were in my email. And then when you talk to them, they just know oh yeah, you're everywhere. They don't even remember where they saw you first. I know I don't. And I know when people talk to me, I'll say, oh, who connected us initially, which may be somebody on my team or one of the programs. And they're like, I don't know. I see your stuff all the time. And I'm like, okay, I guess then it means that it's working. But back to email for a second, which is if each subscriber is worth $1, then we really want to say, how do I keep people warm? How do I add more people on there? What am I doing for that? So you could start a show. You can use ads to put people on there, and a lead magnet, as they call it, which is you go there and somebody says, oh, I want that thing. I'm willing to give you my email address. And then you consistently talk to them. But the one thing, as all the algorithms change and all that stuff, which happens all the time, and we don't own the platform for Facebook and LinkedIn and the rest of it, we do own the email list. And yes, there's always going to be, not every email got through or this, that, and there's always going to be new tools for getting through. But we should be putting people on our email list, and we should be talking to them and talking to them like a human being. This is what we can always go back to when things break. So I always want to throw that out to people. And, I have some very segmented lists. So I communicate to people in different ways, and not always constantly, but I've seen people, I sometimes subscribe to somebody else's list to just watch what they're doing. And sometimes these ones, they're barraging people until they click unsubscribe. That's their way of doing it. I haven't quite done that, but I've seen people build multi-million-dollar businesses doing that. And obviously when it's something you really want, you say, I want this badly. I bought from some of that stuff too. And I've also unsubscribed from some of it.
Yeah, I think for me, the big difference, and this gets into the time thing, because I think, can you find a system that works for you, that saves you time, or at least makes it, I don't want to say effortless, but effort easy, right? So it takes some of the friction out of creating messages and getting that. So what's been your experience with finding that thing? I know you were suggesting HubSpot as a free tool. What has been some of those easy methods for you? I know you mentioned doing audio on LinkedIn versus typing out a message, maybe to save time. What are the ways that you make following up and nurturing with clients? For folks, we know we're supposed to strike when the iron is hot. When it's slow, we're supposed to be contact. We're supposed to be reaching out. I got 1,400 people in my client list. How do I stay present and in front of them all the time? What have been the easy ways for you, or easier ways for you, to kind of make sure that you're touching base with people and nurturing that list?
I think it's figuring out who's qualified or not to work with you. And I say, oh, you put some stuff up here for people.
The rule of seven. Yeah.
Yeah, that prospective buyer should hear or see the marketing message at least 7 times. Maybe it's more than 7 times these days. Staying out in front of people. That's to remind me to talk to you. And it's late. I snoozed it. So yeah, we have to stay out in front of people. Sometimes it's more than 7 times. Somebody's not ready to buy. It's just like those car commercials on TV. They play it all year long because you're not necessarily ready to buy a car, but at least you're thinking about it and you kind of see the ones that you like. And some people see it and get excited at different times. So I think there are a couple of approaches. I mean, we have to decide what we're putting out kind of to everybody. I think if we see ourselves writing certain messages over and over, again, whether it's social media or on email or one-to-one, that we need to figure out how we can either automate that or have somebody help us. I've tried out and I continue to try out various tools. I have on the Mac, they build it right in and you can find a program that does this. They used to call it macros, which is you type in a code and then a certain phrase comes out. So I have a number of codes, whether it's email addresses that I have to type over and over all the time, that I just type the letter Z and a little code, and then a whole thing pops up. And that saves me so much time.
I love that.
People say, hey, tell me more about this. Eventually people start asking a lot of the same questions when you do something all the time. And then I can go back and tweak it, but at least that pops up. And if you're on the PC, you can figure out how to do that nowadays.
I love that. I love that because, there's things with Instagram. If you're big on Instagram and you like to use that tool to get certain phrases that you're using constantly or that you have to retype, and just making those kind of bits, you're going to reach out to people. Maybe you're following up with people for birthdays on LinkedIn or work anniversaries. You're using LinkedIn as your CRM to stay in front of people. And so rather than just that simple message, maybe you can do something a little bit more elaborate, but rather than typing it out each time, one of the tricks for me has been on the low tech side, I have a email document, a Google Doc that I save a lot of the reused phrases so that I'm copying and pasting from there and I'm not searching around. I have my ready to go to, whether that's signature stuff, information on the website, even referrals, right? So I refer out other businesses within their contact information. I have the referral message already typed out, ready to go. So I don't have to think about it each time, copy and paste.
If you're someone who uses Outlook, I know somebody who saves them as the responses as different signatures. So they have their actual email signature. This is who they are, their phone number and all that. But they have the whole email written out. So they have 50 different ones and they click that and it's the referral one or it's the reply to something. And that's yet another way. And we need to do that. I mentioned the free version of HubSpot earlier. I actually pay an extra $50 a month. And sometimes you can hit it for 40 or something like that. Mainly for one feature, even though they give me a whole bunch of other features. And the feature is templates. So I just got, right before chatting with you, I had a short discovery call with somebody who was thinking about working with me on the media and publicity side. And I said, you know what? I'm going to send you, when we get off, an email that has a video walkthrough of exactly what we do and some other stuff, written content and all that. So I can go in there and within 6 seconds, I pick which template, click, it fills it out, including high first name, and has their name in there and everything, instead of the old way we once did it, which was finding the right thing and copying and pasting.
Pulling it all in, yeah.
And send it out. And man, boy, is that worth every penny for that.
I appreciate that. I'm definitely going to check out more of HubSpot. You hear about CRMs. I have companies pitching me all the time for Toth event staffing. Employer PPO organizations, right, and different kinds of things. And so I think, especially if you have an operating business, the CRMs, the lead generation emails. I want to make sure I hit that. I'll put a pin in that. But because there's so many people that offer leads. I know you said a little bit about it. We have something that works, and we're not, offering no guarantees and all that kind of stuff with things. I think those folks that are just hitting you with emails after emails. And then a great email that I got the other day, or great communication, was like, if this is the way that they're communicating with me, I definitely don't want to work with them. Right.
Right.
That kind of stuff. But I wanted to bring up our third takeaway here, which is use the power of community to push you forward. You're talking about getting other people to help you. I know maybe the mastermind group is a part of that. Talk to us about how you use your community to push you forward.
So that's exactly what Lead Generation Mastermind is. And people can get free access today at leadgenerationmastermind.com. It's one of the links that we still have live on there. And basically my thought was, I have these conversations with friends about all these cool ways that we can get in front of more people or be smarter about it. And we're all excited when we have these conversations together, but we don't have the group really sharing. So it's basically a community where we're playing into the bigger mind. So people are commenting and asking each other questions on there, and it's continued to grow. And we have some really great ideas for bigger events, both in the virtual space and in person as time goes on. But I think having a community and owning your own community, there it is,
Yep.
is a great way to get other people to help you. And if you're the owner of your community and the person who started it, everybody sees you as the, big kahuna, so to speak. And and it's been fantastic. I planted this seed right in the beginning. I had mentioned that tool where you can get one email at a time, but something I learned from the folks in the Lead Generation Mastermind, they told me, and I learned it from them, a tool called Seamless, and it's Seamless either AI or IO, but I paid for it. And it basically, I don't know if they've changed their prices. It was $1,200 for the year. So it comes to about $100. And here's what it is. You go into the Sales Navigator, which is the paid version of LinkedIn. We probably should talk a little bit about that. But you can create a list of, say, 1,000 leads. And then you can export it and get their email addresses. And you should be smart about how you contact those people. And I would say, even though they say there's very high accuracy, let's say 70 or 80% are probably great. So maybe it's more than that, but that's where I kind of feel like maybe it is. And I've been experimenting and reaching out to people, and I've been writing the email like it's a one-to-one email. Like, hey, I saw you on LinkedIn, which I totally did because we created this list. That's it, seamless.ai. And it's really great for reaching more people quickly. And I've reached out and said, hey, so I guess we've been mainly reaching out. At some point we will on the Lead Generation Mastermind side. But the business that makes me money is us helping people get publicity. So if we reach out to people in the health space or legal or business space, which are three categories that we supply guests to the media with, and we say, hey, this is what we're doing. The media is looking for they have an endless need for content. And if this is something that you've wanted to do and want to know how you can use it to make more business, let's chat. And we've sent those out. And, it's just like the funnel where you send it out to this amount, smaller amount, open it up,
Right.
Smaller amount are clicking around. And then the last smaller amount says, yeah, let me know. Let's talk. Just the other day, somebody said, I can't believe the kismet. I just was thinking about this and you read my brain, and please let's talk. And of course, there are other people who say, no, thanks. And that's fine too.
Take me off your list.
Which is fine. And I make sure there's an unsubscribe button. And I do want to take people off the list. And there are a lot of great tools for mass emails, and we don't probably really have time to go into it, but I want to have one distinction, which is a lot of people hear the phrase CRM, and a CRM is not a mass email program.
Right.
A CRM may have one, or a mass email program may have it, but in my mind, a CRM is a whole bigger management tool for managing all different people. And I should have a Cameron Toth file that basically has notes in there that says, hey, we did this great interview, and these are the things I talked about. So even if Cameron's not a lead, for me to go back, and if he says, let's come back and do it again, that I don't repeat myself. Or if Cameron says along the way, oh, Jess, I got to bring you up to a friend of mine, I got to put a reminder there. But a mass email program like a MailChimp or Active Campaign or Aweber or one of those things may have added some of those tools, but they're totally different. That's a mass email approach. And the other one is in my mind, it's a follow-up approach. And now it's all starting to blend a little bit because they want to keep their customers and put it all on one platform.
Yeah, I think one of the important things for me, if you're shopping for a CRM, is there's free tools or very low cost tools like Google, for example, where you can store your contacts and you can use your emails. I use a vanity URL for my email, so it looks like a professional email, but Gmail powers it. And so if your CRM is not doing the same thing, or at least as much as Google is doing in terms of informing you, okay, you've communicated with this person before, you have their contact information, a CRM should be the next level of that, right? So hopefully it's automating some of the interactions, taking down some of the notes, you communicated with this person on this day. But all CRMs are only as good as the inputs that are going into them, right? If they're not grabbing and recording the interactions in some way. For me, I really use my Google contact address as a CRM because I've been wary of spending the time that, you get into some of these systems, and especially if you're starting from zero from them, but you have a lot of contacts, database and everything, it can be a lot of work onboarding into a system. And then what if you don't like that system, you invest into it. So you don't want to get into this lightly. You want to definitely be sure it's a piece of software that you like. But I know if I write down notes on my CRM tool, right, my notepad, and that I don't upload those into Google Contacts, later on, I'm just not going to, it's the recall isn't going to be there. Whereas if I just type in the name, boom, the information pops up. That's ideally what you want. Correct me if I'm wrong. From your CRM, I pop in Jess's information, his name, and suddenly, okay, we met on this day. We did Biz Dev Live. We've sent him 3 emails. He likes green grapes, right? Whatever the case may be.
And that's good to write down those things, because maybe next time you bring up green grapes or something I said about one of my kids. And here's something interesting, because a lot of people like you and me use the paid version of Gmail, G Suite, I think they call it. Yeah. You can attach your business email address to it. And it's just, in my mind, I just like the functionality of it. But HubSpot gives away for free. I don't know if they do it for Outlook. They probably do. But there's a plugin that while I'm emailing somebody or Cameron, what I can do is I can write on the side, and it shows me the actual CRM file or a little piece of it. So it has Cameron's name, and I can create the follow-up right there. And I can say, we talked about this, and next Tuesday he said call. So without leaving that page, I can make the new follow-up and be right back on my next email. And all these companies are trying to come up with these tools. I think when picking one, we have to really be quick to or figure out what makes our life quicker and helps us to reach more people. For me, that helps me determine which one I'm going to pick. And obviously, the other thing from having these conversations with other folks at Lead Generation Mastermind is some people say, I have to make sure I actually use it every day. So that's a me conversation that they have to have with themselves, right? Which is, are you going to go in there? I mean, I know I'm going to do my best to answer my email every day. I know I'm going to go into my CRM and I see all my follow-ups, and sometimes there are 25 follow-ups, sometimes there are 50. And I'm like, 50? Oh man, I got to get in here. And then I got to go over to, social platforms, and we have different programs and things that are, sometimes we've had something automated reaching more people. Sometimes I've had a virtual assistant who's out connecting to people and getting conversations started. Yeah, I'm always testing these things, because I think, one thing bringing it all back together is we want to reach more people. And we want to reach the right people, people who are tuning in. By the way, ask questions, people who are tuning in. If you,
I was hoping that people would follow up with some questions on the CRMs and give us some questions on how they're having challenges with leads. We would love to hear from you on what are the issues and challenges you're having with leads. What's the time struggle? What's the really the thing that grates on you with the follow-up? Those things are great pieces for us to provide feedback on. We just have a few minutes left here. Jess, I wanted you to focus on the piece of this that I think is really important, because you tap on something. There's a lot of tools available out there. There's lots of opportunities out there. Are we utilizing them? Maybe you know about it and you're not utilizing it. You have a LinkedIn account, but you're not creating the lead generation. One thing, and I don't know if you know this, but I've definitely utilized this. Steve Spiro and I, you've been on the show, Master Connection series. We create these events on LinkedIn to promote the show. And in doing that, if you create an event on LinkedIn through your business page, not your personal page, but through your business page, what you can do through LinkedIn, it gives you the option to register attendees. You have to put in a privacy policy. There's a couple steps in here, makes it a little complicated, but we're talking about some complicated things in lead generation, because these are the things that actually bring cash money into your business. You got to do your taxes. You got to do sales, right? There's things that you just got to do in life, right? So if you set up the event that way, you have a privacy policy in place. There's places like termly.io, I think, is a place you can go get a free privacy policy put together for yourself, and then you attach that to your website. But you put that privacy policy together, you do that event through your business page. LinkedIn, as people hit that event and attend that event, will then create a downloadable sheet that has the emails on it, that's current, for that event. So you set up something 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months down the road, get people registered. At that point, obviously it's awesome. You do the event, people show up. But at that point, LinkedIn recommends it. 30 plus attendees, they're recommending it to people. People are signing up. You have now built in a lead generation sheet, because you can download that, all the attendees. You know, who cares if they attended? You got their emails. You can follow up with them because you put your privacy policy in there. So people have opted in to your marketing right there from LinkedIn. Really incredible tool. Not a lot of people know about it.
Yeah, and people who have at least signed up have demonstrated in some way that they are interested in what you have to share. And they might be happy with a replay or just talking to you. They're busy, maybe do a discovery call and just chat and meet each other. It's a great strategy. We're gonna have to add that. Make sure to put that in there. I'm pretty sure you're a member of Lead Generation Mastermind.
We're gonna get it in there. We're gonna get it in there. All right,
put it in there.
So I know we opened with fire. What do you want to leave us with, Jess, here?
I'm going to leave you with this one, because I have my little list staring at me, and we have so many ways that you can have more leads and referrals and all that. Here's a strategy, which is you can go register a URL, web address, for something like givejessareview.com, which is a real one that I have. You're welcome to give me a review after today. And then if you get it at somewhere like GoDaddy, you decide where you want to point it. So you can actually point it to your LinkedIn page for people to give you a review, or you can point wherever you want on your own website. There's another way that one of our Lead Generation Mastermind members does, where he has it on a blog page, and people are basically putting a comment in. And because there are all these comments on his website, he points to that page. And there are just, I think he has something like 400 reviews at this point. And the blog entry just says, these are reviews from our people. And he links to that. Or you can do what I did, which is there's a way to point it to your Google business page, but where people can leave reviews. So that is another technique. We talk about all these things you can access for free membership, instead of the paid membership that we're moving to shortly over at leadgenerationmastermind.com. And we're happy to have you. And you get to do that because you know Cameron Toth.
There you go. Jess, man, you are amazing. I really thank you for the work that you're doing. You gave a lot of value to folks today. tell people where they can reach you. I know I have your LinkedIn address, and we have the mastermind group information in the description. So if you're on LinkedIn or Facebook, you can see it off to the side to the right of the page that you're looking at right now. If you're on YouTube, you can find that down in the description. We have the website, www.leadgenerationmastermind.com. We have the LinkedIn address to connect with Jess. He's got a lot of connections. I've been trying to connect with him. It's a hard thing to do, but you can definitely find him on LinkedIn. Great person to be connected with. Jess, tell us how people can connect with you, what you'd like them to do.
Definitely over on LinkedIn. Google me. If you Google Jess Todtfeld, good luck with the silent T in the middle of my last name. You'll end up on one of my sites. We've mentioned a whole bunch of them today. Certainly Lead Generation Mastermind should have all the way at the bottom, email us if you have a question, something to that effect. But yeah, it's always fun connecting with people. It's been great giving today and sharing. And I hope everybody else today who's tuned in has been able to get some interesting lead generating strategies.
Thank you, Jess. Say goodbye to everybody.
Biz Dev Live, Biz Dev Live. Weekdays at 11 Eastern Time, live. Biz Dev Live, Biz Dev Live. Weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration, Biz Dev Live, Biz Dev Live. Business development, not even selling it. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. This is business development, not even selling it. This is business development, not even selling it. Biz Dev Live, Biz Dev Live.